What is up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another episode of the What the Fanboy podcaster show. I don't know what we really are.
What are we anymore?
Well, nobody knows.
For reality
The
television.
What the Fanboy Zoom
Yeah.
feed. My name is Luke, and I am joined once again by Mr. Tyler.
What up? What up? I feel like what up is like my new signature
What up? What up?
I love
sign-in thing. And as always, the especially beautiful Brett Eitzen today because he actually looks like he's groomed himself. I have not gotten a haircut in like 8 weeks, and I am so jealous of you right now. I feel like a caveman.
You got to know the right people.
See, I know people, but they're like, I'm not cutting hair because if I cut hair,
I'll give you a haircut, Tyler.
At this point, I'm pretty close to being like, okay.
But just so you know, I'm only using my hands. It's the only way I know how to do it.
That's
So
concerning.
you're like tearing his hair out?
No,
It's
it's trade secret.
is your name Edward? Is my first question.
It's kind of similar to a massage, but also kind of like a really hard slap.
Oh.
That doesn't sound good.
I'm gonna slap your hair off. No.
Oh, whatever. Whatever works.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am excited to be back this week. I feel like in our coronavirus world, it's only been a week, but it feels like so much longer.
Dude, seriously.
And it makes me so happy to get to Monday nights now and just be like, yeah, socialization.
Yeah, it feels like the longest weeks ever.
So true.
Hey, but like
Yeah.
Kansas is lifting their stay-at-home order, right? Quote unquote.
Yeah, we'll see. Phase 1 in place now.
Does phase 1 mean we can come back to the studio?
Yeah. Well,
It's up to Brett's in his house.
the studio still ain't real set up, if you can see. Studio's in boxes still.
We need to get on that.
Yeah.
I know. Tell me about it. Well, we're getting paint for upstairs, I think, this week. So that same color is going to be one of the walls in here. So fingers crossed we can at least get started and get something going on.
Sweet.
But yeah.
Is it a green or a blue that we can just double as a green or blue screen and do cool special effects on?
Let's paint the wall green. I'm so in.
Let's not paint my room green.
Please.
We could paint one wall green.
That's what I
Not
mean.
that wall, though.
That
Maybe
way we
this
can
wall.
do the weather.
That wall.
Did you
right
hang that picture behind you just for this?
there. I did. Have you not? It was.
It was
I hung
Destiny.
Up,
Wasn't
it was
it a warlock?
Destiny. Yeah. It was a warlock, and because we started talking about Destiny like 2 weeks ago, and I didn't change it last week, and then I thought it's Star Wars this week. Perfect.
Yep. Happy May the 4th, everybody. May the 4th be
Yeah.
with you.
I feel like I have the worst lisp ever when I say that. May the 4th be with you.
4th be with you.
But see, I don't
Fourth
feel
be with
wrong
you?
until I say with. Like, I'm good at 4th, but when I say with, it just makes it sound worse.
I
May
think
the
it
4th
sounds
be
fine.
with you.
May the 4th be with you.
Well, what did you guys do this week? As we're going to talk a lot about Star Wars today, but run back real quick. Let's get through these things so we can have some fun. What all did you do?
I mean, the majority of my week is still dedicated towards Destiny. I don't need to go into that a whole lot.
Nice.
But
Did you do anything fun or new in Destiny?
We did the third raid on the Leviathan together. That was interesting. I really liked that one.
This is a good raid.
I thought the second one was fun, but I thought this one was like a huge step up just from that one.
This one's the third one's a whole challenge level step up.
Yeah.
In terms of like what all is going on.
Mechanically, yeah.
It was just so awesome. Plus, like, I think one of my problems with the second one was there was that jumping bit at the beginning, and then you just kind of hang out and shoot Cabal for a bit, and you just move on, and it's like, what were we doing? There was, I can just go to Earth and do that. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't really feel it too special until you got to the next bits where things got more
It's a
rainy,
little bit
I'll
more of
say.
a ramp, a slow ramp, right?
Yeah.
And this one, it starts off pretty mechanically intense from the
Hmm.
beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I liked that. I thought that was really cool. Um, but the two things that I watched actually right before we're recording this, I watched the series finale of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. And I gotta be honest, I'm kind of an emotional wreck. It was so good. Um, I'm really sad it's over. I can't wait to talk more about it with Brett. I don't want to
Yeah,
say
we're
too
gonna
much with
have a
Tyler here, but
lot of fun talking about that.
Yeah, I have
it
not
was
watched it, so
so good, so good. Um, the main thing I did this week was I started and caught up on. It's not finished yet because it's still going, but I've been watching The Last Dance on ESPN,
Oh yeah.
which
How is
is the
that?
Michael Jordan Bulls Phil Jackson run documentary, and it is phenomenal. It's it's so crazy how good Michael Jordan and those Bulls were at basketball. I was 6 during what the majority of this takes place in, which is in 1998. I didn't really get to watch Michael Jordan a whole lot in his prime. We'll say majority was when he came back or when he was on the Wizards.
hey,
Not that he
Wizards,
wasn't
Wiz kids.
not that he wasn't bad. I mean, he's Michael Jordan, but it's just incredible to see how insanely good he was. Um, it's just also a really deep dive into the part of sports you don't see, which is all the drama and
Business.
maneuvering around, the business of sports. In this case, basketball, like, and how Michael Jordan really, really did not like the general manager who was moving people around and kind of screwed some people into some pretty bad contracts. But and then
Scotty.
just yeah, like, and then there's the stuff with the media and Michael Jordan's supposed gambling problem, and it's so good. I highly recommend everybody watch it. I give it a booyah so far. And it's the only thing right now that's sports related that's on TV. So if you're itching for something that's sports, watch this. It's really good. There's a TVMA version which has all the language, and there's a TV 14 version that's edited. So really anybody can watch it. But super, super, super good stuff. Highly, 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 highly recommend people check that out.
Nice.
Even if you're not really a sports fan, it's just it's like a weird drama in documentary form. It's really incredible stuff what they're putting together, and I really like the format of it too, because like the 97-98 season was coined as the last dance by Phil Jackson because Phil Jackson was being forced out. Um, so that's where the title comes from. So you have like this timeline in 97-98 when things aren't going at their best, and then you keep flashing back to the past. Like, here's Michael's rookie season. Here's where Scotty entered. Here's where Rodman entered. Here's their first championship. Here's this. And like you kind of work your way up, and I'm guessing it's going to end colliding into that 97-98 finals. And it's just so good. Really good stuff.
That's
I'm,
dope.
Plus, I'm into
I'm
sports, man. I just miss sports.
I'm not as much into sports as you, but honestly, what that makes me really want to do is rewatch Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
Listening to you talk about it.
Yeah, should watch that again. That movie was nuts. Oh, man.
I have no doubt that I will love that when I finally get around to sitting down and watching it.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, I don't know. I'm a bona fide sports junkie, so
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll
And
love it.
it's rare. I feel like you get a look into the life of somebody that every single person has heard of.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Everybody in the world knows who Michael Jordan is.
That's
What
yeah. I'm
that was
jealous. I look
that
forward
was
to
the
watching
only
it.
thing that I did. So
Okay, I'll jump into my week. Of course, played Destiny 2 with you guys. Enjoyed that third raid we've done now. We've done 3. How many more Leviathan raids
We've
do we
done
got?
3, but you've done another 2.
You did Scourge,
Yeah.
but not with us.
Yeah, I've done that one twice. That one takes like 30 minutes. Like, it's seriously so short.
True.
It's ridiculous. It feels like a strike. So I played that. Also, I jumped into Gears 5. They have their third season, Operation is what they call it, and they added a new mode called Gridiron, which, if Tyler hears anything that relates to football, he's going to go check it out. So,
Well, duh.
I jumped on there and unlocked Thrashball Cole because he's got football pads on, and I think he's awesome. But I played that. That mode's fun. It's just capture the flag, but when you score, it's called a touchdown. So I'm into it. And then Luke had mentioned a movie. I think it was last week you talked about Code 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
I sat down last night and watched Code 8. And I'll give it a fanboy worthy. A high fanboy worthy, though. I think I was kind of texting back and forth with Luke about it because, Brett, I don't think you've watched it yet.
Not yet.
And the word I used for it was beautifully simple. It's just so...
Mm-hmm.
They've created a world that's not overly complex, but it introduces a lot of really interesting story material
A lot
that
of
they could
interesting
run
ideas,
with.
yeah.
The way I kind of described it was they left a lot of meat on the bone for future projects if they really want to dive into that world. And I would gladly revisit it, whether that be through a TV show, a movie, maybe a comic book. If somebody wanted to pick that up, it's definitely something worth checking out if you're into superheroes, but also if you're into just indie film in general. I think there's a lot there. And one thing I just wanted to definitely bring back up, Luke had mentioned the acting. Directors matter because Robbie Amell was incredible in that movie. I thought he did a really, really good job. Very impressed with it. Again, high fanboy worthy. If you like superhero movies, check it out. It is R-rated, so keep that in mind. But
I think kind of with it too, which gives me kind of some hope, is they made that movie for so cheap.
Yeah.
And it being on Netflix, a Netflix original, I think it adds a lot of potential for it to get something else.
Yeah.
So I really hope that they can make a sequel, or I really think a show would be the coolest option, so you can kind of explore some more routes in that world.
Yeah, definitely. I know it was a Kickstarter movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then Netflix bought it. It's pretty awesome. Definitely would check it out.
Cool. Nice. I've done a few things, not a ton.
Got that haircut.
Got that haircut. Looking fly.
No. Got to test my haircut theory.
So I've been binging through this season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I kind of got lost in the shuffle since it's like premiering right now. It's still kind of coming out, and so because of Tiger King and Homecoming and all those other things that I've been watching, I kind of got lost. So I binged like 5 or 6 episodes of that this week, and I just love that show. It's a great comedy. Oh my word, I love it. Stephanie, and
you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
I was gonna say, you mentioned Homecoming. I was wondering if you had watched any more of that, or
I still haven't finished it yet. I got like another episode in, but
nice,
but not there yet. Sorry, I know. Full
No, you're
review
good.
Coming sometime. And then Stephanie and I started Bob's Burgers, which we're looking for a little animated show just to like kill 20 minutes at a time. You get through 2 or 3 episodes and not feel like you're, spending a whole bunch of time watching stuff. It's been kind of fun.
What's been your favorite line in that show? My favorite line is in the first episode.
The first episode's great.
Dude, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But my favorite line in the first episode is, "You're the worst kind of autistic. You can't even count." Dude, it's so funny. How many are there?
I don't...
3? No, I picked up 1. Now I added 1. There's 4. 4? No, like at one point they put like 3 things on the ground, and they ask Tina how many there are, and she's like 100. He's like, no, there's 3. And then he like puts one more down. He's like, all right, how many are there now? And she's like, 3. Oh, I love that show. That show's so funny to me.
The younger daughter is the best.
The one with the hat.
The one with the hat who's always changing the chalkboard sign to something terrible. Oh my gosh. Oh. The episode, I don't know. All 3 of the first, I think we got through 3 episodes. The first 3 episodes are all great.
Which is is one of the first 3 episodes Tina learning how to drive?
No.
Oh man, that's a good one too. Sorry, I could go all
Because
day.
the first one is the health inspector.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is
The walls.
And then the third one is the cow.
Okay.
The cow one was great too. But so we've been enjoying that. That's been pretty fun. It's a nice little departure from what we don't watch a lot of animated stuff actually together. I watch more of the animated stuff, but I think after we watched Rick and Morty, she's been like kind of clamoring for some more quick, you don't really have to think a lot.
Harley Quinn? What?
I know, right? She needs to get on that. I also watched Clone Wars finale. Well, the last 2 episodes, penultimate and season finale.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Series finale.
There's 2.
Oh Siri, I'm not talking to you.
Always trying to be the center of attention, Siri.
I know, right? It's like it knows. I think those 2 episodes are maybe 2 of the best episodes in the entire series. And what's crazy is that like that's carried completely by Ahsoka, which I think we all love Ahsoka, or most people tend to love Ahsoka. But like I thought certain other characters would be in it more, which and it doesn't make sense timeline wise for them to be in it, but it was nice to see that specifically her and Rex could really carry this whole last kind of arc just by themselves. It was nice. It was really good. Go watch it if you haven't yet. Tyler, just keep binging, my man.
Yeah, I'm trying to clear up my queue of shows so that I can kind of hunker down and blow through that. Which blow through that in my standard would be finish a season. So.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. So the other couple things I actually did today, the Disney Gallery Mandalorian episode on directing. So it's essentially a behind-the-scenes look at The Mandalorian. Episode 1 is all about directing, so they're sitting down with the 5 directors and kind of talking about how they got involved and whatnot. It's a pretty quick, like 25-minute episode, but it's really good. It's really interesting to see some of their different personalities come out and how they work together, and it's really cool. I guess they were and it makes sense practically that they would kind of be shooting like back to back to back to back to back. But it's cool to see them like on each other's sets, like interacting and talking like that. So also would recommend that. And then the last thing was I watched the little behind the scenes making of documentary of the Rise of Skywalker. It's called The Skywalker Legacy. Kind of covers how that film got made. As I've made known pretty publicly that's not my favorite film. I don't feel like it was for me. That said, I love watching these behind the scenes things, and I think I gained more appreciation for what they were trying to do, even if I didn't think they executed it the best. So, yeah,
cool.
That was my week.
Nice.
I did a lot today.
Let's get into these.
Lots of Star Wars stuff today. Today's the day to do it, though. So.
I know.
Absolutely. Speaking of Star Wars stuff, there's some Star Wars news that came out today, obviously.
Ooh, obviously.
And I'll just say first, there's free DLC for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order today.
Oh,
I think they added a new game.
Who
plus.
has that? Which one of you has that?
Luke has it, but I have it.
So I need to come steal it from you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna play.
Hurry up, because I want to play it.
I'm gonna play it
more
with this.
Oh, you got your new controller?
I got my controller today.
You got a black box?
I was gonna mention that. I haven't even opened it yet, so I'll open it while you're talking. Sorry.
Welcome to our Xbox
unboxing video.
Elite unboxing video.
Yeah.
So new free DLC content for
Star Wars Jedi
Wars.
Fallen Order.
Is that game on sale yet? Like, I might just buy it.
It's got.
It was on sale this weekend.
Been out for 6 months.
It's probably on sale today, because it's May the 4th.
That's a good point.
I'll go check it out after this.
Still speaking of Star Wars video games, I'll stay in that little circle. It was announced that the Battle of Scarif was going to be the next kind of season DLC for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Then they kind of just released this kind of short little trailer video kind of going into it. But it's actually going to be the last content drop for the game.
That's sad, although I don't
yeah,
play
it
that
is.
Much,
I mean, the biggest bum for me about it is that I won't get to play as Ahsoka in that game.
Yeah.
Which is the person people have been asking for so long.
She'll be in the third one.
Hopefully,
she'll be in the next one.
She has to be either a starter in that game or one of the first people added. If not,
she'll be their selling
people
point.
Revolt.
You're welcome, EA, for the marketing tips.
But kind of also in that video, they were talking about like once this stuff drops, we'll still support the game like for like bugs and stuff because they happen.
You have to.
Yeah. But production will then start on Battlefront 3. And then also, it was kind of alluded to, announced kind of, I don't know if it's really official, but a new Battlefield game from DICE will be coming in 2021.
I hope it's modern.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for them to bring back the modern.
Mm-hmm.
I know that people will just be like, "It's copying Call of Duty," but
at this point,
they're
not copying each other anymore.
No,
They've
no.
both done every single war possible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing left to do. Ooh, let's go back to the Revolutionary War. You get one shot.
No one wants that.
You get a musket.
And then after that, you just swing the butt of your musket around and try and hit people.
Or you can load cannons and shoot people's faces off like in The Patriot.
One of you want Game Pass Ultimate for 14 days?
Nah. Thanks, though. Brett, you want to take this next Star Wars story?
Which one? There's a few.
There's like 12.
Yeah. The dude whose name rhymes with Micah.
Oh, Taika?
Yeah.
Guys, we got some real exciting news today. Taika Waititi is going to write and direct a Star Wars movie for the theater. Like not a Disney Plus thing. Like a feature film. He is co-directing or co-writing with what's her name? Do you have it right there, Tyler?
I don't remember her name, but she wrote 1917 with Sam Mendes.
Yeah, she was a co-writer on 1917.
Dude,
so
a one-cut Star Wars movie. Let's do it.
That would be interesting. I don't know if that's Taika's style.
Dude, if interesting isn't Taika's style, then I don't know what is.
That's true. That's true. I think
that dude has a pretty wild range. So
and that's kind of what I'm most excited for. I think there's been a couple things in the past that would make me like. I saw a number of people today on Twitter being like, and Disney already has their We're sad to part due to creative differences memo written up for this. And
It definitely crossed my mind, and I would not be surprised at all, honestly.
so I wouldn't be surprised except for the fact that he has directed a hugely successful Marvel movie. And Disney or Lucasfilm is certainly going to be trying to emulate what the success that Marvel has had and not the other way, right? Like they don't have as much
Goodwill.
credibility in their like creative decisions, right? Even as and that's not necessarily a huge dig at them. I'm just saying the last couple films haven't been as successful, and we know that they've been kind of do that. Except for really episode 8, I feel like all of the films have had quite a bit of oversight, and not that 8 didn't have oversight either. I just feel like Ryan was given a little more free reign, whereas like Lord and Miller basically got fired because of it. Heck, Gareth Edwards, they reshot the whole third act of that movie.
Thank goodness.
So I think with having a Oscar-winning writer-director who has worked with Disney before, because remember this is still Disney we're talking about. I think that gives me a lot of hope in that he will probably stick out and see this film to the end.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm all over the place with this, honestly. My initial reaction was awesome, Taika. Yeah, Jojo Rabbit was absolutely fantastic. I love Thor Ragnarok. It's one of my favorite MCU movies. But then I remembered he's working on Thor: Love and Thunder, which doesn't come out for like 3 years. So when is this Star Wars movie going to come out? Is he going to be working on both at the same time? Not saying he can't multitask or anything, but
They'll just film it on the Mandalorian TV thing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he balances that.
Yeah, and then like another thing that made me go, yeah, this is good news, is he directed the season finale of Mandalorian, which is probably the best episode. But I don't know, Lucasfilm just seems so untrustworthy of who they pick. I feel like they'll fire anybody, and it's not Taika, it's not Lord and Miller, it's not Trevorrow or Abrams or Johnson or whoever they hire. I don't really feel like they trust anybody they're hiring because they're so nervous.
I do think they have a control issue.
Yeah.
There's kind of that old guard. Kasdan, Kennedy have been there for a long time, and I think they have, and rightfully so in some regard, they have a lot of ownership over the IP. But I think you just have to find the right people. One of the things they talked about in the Mandalorian little bonus behind the scenes episode on directing was, Dave Filoni was just talking about, and John Favreau was talking about just hiring good people. And it obviously all those directors are extremely talented, but Taika was the most experienced out of that group, which is crazy. Taika hasn't directed that many things. Star Wars has been taking chances on young, upcoming, or even like older, but not as proven in the live action cinematic space. And it bites them in the butt a lot, especially on their bigger projects. But on these smaller ones, I think they've maybe figured out a way of kind of getting people in the door and then figuring out if that's a good fit for something else.
Yeah.
There were a couple of people today who tweeted out, I don't know if you guys saw this, about directing episodes for The Mandalorian Season 2. It's new people. I mean, I think some of them will come, some of the, I don't remember, was the director's list, has that been revealed for Season 2?
I've been off social media almost all day to avoid spoilers for Clone Wars, so I have no idea.
So Peyton Reed did an episode,
Okay, yeah.
and Robert Rodriguez both
Okay.
tweeted out today, like, little things about directing episodes of that. So I think that Mando, maybe not specifically, but in part, is this kind of turning door where we get to see, here's a bunch of talent for directors and storytellers. Let's bring them in, see what they do. They're under pretty high, Favreau and Filoni still have pretty high creative control over that. But that's kind of a nice, easy way to ease someone into the world. And I think that's what happened with Taika. I think Taika came in, did a fantastic job on Mandalorian. They probably picked his brain for a little bit. What would be some other stories you want to tell? And they gave him the green light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say on if there was a ratio of excited, not excited, it's a very unbalanced ratio of I'm 70% excited for Taika, but I'm 30% nervous because Lucasfilm.
Sure. Yeah. Tyler?
I'm excited about it. Luke brought up a good point. It's 6 years away from now, so I really won't believe anything until they're in production.
Yeah, I am really.
He could still direct the Flash movie too. I mean, honestly,
right, at this
and
point.
Uncharted before the Star Wars and Thor come out.
Right, he's got plenty of time. So,
well, and they haven't, as we're recording this, I haven't seen anything like a new roadmap for Star Wars in terms of timeline on things.
Good.
We had that. Well, we had that, and I had that whole. One of my predictions for this year was that Jon Favreau was going to be announced. So I probably have lost that bet. Or that
hey, maybe it will
now.
have to come out that this whatever this lady in Taika are writing is episode 10.
I do not think episode 10 is coming anytime soon.
In 6 years?
I think this movie's coming out before 6 years. I do think episode 10 might be 6 years away. But his movie's coming out in this one's probably when's Love and Thunder is 2022?
2.
Yeah, so this one's like 2023 or 24. I could see them depending on how fast they get Love and Thunder done. I could see that one being in post for a long time just because of release schedule stuff and him moving on to do Star Wars before that one comes out. So I could see this being a 20... Well, I can't remember the Avatar schedule. What did we say? 2021 was the
That's
Avatar
2021, 3? And then every year after that.
So 2022, there was the untitled Star Wars film, which supposedly would have been the the Game of Thrones
Benioff and
Weiss one, but that's gone now, so who knows Anyways,
yeah.
I talked about
you
Taika
went for Taika about 20 minutes.
Sorry. My bad. I'm excited. What can I say?
I don't mind.
What's next? Sorry.
Well, speaking of movies that are going to come, years from now, John Wick 4 was delayed to 2022, even though that movie probably makes 7 months to make.
Good. I need the rest after John Wick 3.
I think Keanu needs the rest after John Wick 3.
Well, this got delayed because Matrix 4 got delayed.
Right.
Yep.
And it conflicted with his schedule.
Unfortunate, just timing thing.
But guys, there's another movie coming in 2022. June 24th of 2022. Optimus Prime has put his foot down. They're making another Transformers movie.
Is this the animated one? Or is this a real
This is a live action Transformers movie.
Cool.
I
I heard I heard
did
they were
they
making an
announce anything
animated one
about it?
too.
I'd be down for an animated Transformers movie. That'd be dope.
I think. Oh shoot, what was it?
Should we put it
I
on?
can't remember.
Who has Hasbro? Isn't it Hasbro?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Paramount.
Paramount.
The dude who directed Toy Story 4 is developing a
Animated one.
animated
Cool.
Transformers movie. Yeah,
Dope.
which honestly I'd be far more interested in.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I wouldn't mind a Travis Knight character one again.
Yeah.
Whether that's
I love
Bumblebee 2
Bumblebee.
or,
Bumblebee tuna. Bumblebee tuna.
yeah, maybe. Or something else. Maybe an Optimus movie. But
I'll take
back on Cybertron.
Cybertron.
All right.
What's next?
You want me to just keep rattling here?
Just
Do it.
keep going, big dog.
The new Space Jam with LeBron James got its title treatment, Space Jam: A New Legacy. They revealed their logo.
Ew.
The logo, I'm not a huge fan of it, but whatever. I'll watch it.
I'm not a fan of the logo, and I'm not really a fan of the title, but I'm still kind of excited for the movie.
I think the title feels like kind of a shot at MJ,
Oh.
but I don't know. They will forever be debated, even though we should just be happy we got to see them play.
Yeah.
There's a live-action
Then-
Hercules movie in development.
That don't need to happen.
Yeah, yay.
But it's produced by the Russo brothers,
Yeah.
man. They did Endgame, the visionary directors of Endgame, and they produced Extraction, the most probably average movie, but it's fun movie of the year.
Well, speaking of Extraction, hot off the press, a sequel's in the works.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yep, Joe Russo is coming back to do a sequel. Trying to see here. Nick Cage has been cast as Joe Exotic for CBS's scripted Tiger King TV show.
I don't want this. But freaking Nick Cage, I do want it. I mean, I don't want it, but I do want it. In the morbid curiosity sense.
Yeah, dude. I saw this and I was like, oh my goodness. I'm in.
I think the casting is pretty great.
Dude, it is. It's good.
It's too soon though. This is too hot right now.
Well, who knows with everything that's going on how long it'll be before this is even made.
I feel like this is gonna get old so quick. Like, it's a crazy story, and Tiger King was great, but
How much money is Joe Exotic making while in prison right now?
Probably nothing.
Dude, his name is being planted all over everything.
Yeah, but he's gonna die in there. He doesn't get it.
What is he, 50?
I don't know.
He's only in there for
He has
20 years.
And he had 12 sentences, didn't he?
I think he
Like,
only served.
not
He's only
life
serving like a
sentences,
20-year sentence.
Everybody kept saying on that show, he's gonna die in there. He's gonna die in there.
Somebody's gonna kill him, probably.
Probably.
Who knows?
I don't
Carol
know.
Baskin's gonna sneak him to a tiger.
Maybe.
She'll be like, "I finally got you."
Carol Baskins is gonna sneak a tiger into prison and have it eat him.
All right.
She's gonna dump sardine oil all over his
His shoes.
sleeping body.
What else we got here? There's new rules for the Academy Awards this year. Did you guys see this?
I did.
Now you can.
Are we eligible?
We are eligible. Maybe we're eligible for a Webby or whatever it's called.
Let's do it.
But
I think nominations are already up, but
yeah,
let's try and get ourselves in there.
yeah. No, they're doing movies that are released to streaming services can be part of the awards. Essentially, you don't have to release in theater. I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It'll kind of. I feel like this is like the NFL draft. Like the NFL draft was much better this year because it was all remote, and so now people are like, we got to keep doing it this way. I wonder if that'll be the same for the awards.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see. And then
Did they say whether or not the rules will change?
they said it's
back,
only
or
for
is this
this
gonna
year,
Okay.
at least for now.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, my guess is that won't last more than a year, unless
Unless it's successful.
But even then, the Academy is so much about it. It's just kind of got this self-feeding thing about
Film.
it. And so
Theater.
I mean, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of keep an eye on. Brett, do you want to take this Jeff Keighley Summer of Games story?
Sure. So in light of E3 and basically all the gaming conventions getting canceled this spring, summer, probably into fall, Jeff Keighley announced that he has his kind of this digital online event, like Tyler was saying, Summer of Games. It's essentially going to be a kind of phased reveal of a bunch of stuff that these developers and publishers were working on already, but they're getting ready to talk about, and they want to do it in a way that's a little more community-based rather than them just sending out stuff on, social media as themselves. They're making it an online event, basically. I think this is really, really cool, especially Jeff throws an awesome Game Awards, and while this is certainly not the Game Awards, I think
It's the next best thing.
He is one of those rare voices in the in the gaming community that really rallies for unity and every inclusivity from developers and publishers and players. So really excited to see what all is revealed this summer. Probably Bungie's on there, so we're gonna get to see what's coming up for Destiny.
And Halo, or not Halo, sorry.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Halo will get something this summer.
Halo is gonna get something, but 343 is big enough; they may be able just to do something on their own.
Man, I am getting more and more excited for Halo at this point. It's weird.
That makes me excited.
I'm ready to get my Xbox Series X, Halo Infinite, play that inevitable Halo Battle Royale they're going to make.
Exactly. So if you're interested...
No more Battle Royales. Please.
What if they make a Battlefront one?
I'll play it, but I'd rather just have regular multiplayer. I'll play the Halo one too.
No, you won't. You hate Halo multiplayer.
I'll play it probably once or twice with you guys, and I'll say peace, and I'll go do something else.
You'll go play Apex.
Yeah.
No,
so pay
I'll probably
attention
play Destiny
on
or
social media.
Cyberpunk.
Summer of Games. Gonna be awesome.
So, in my mind, Summer of Games has already started because Assassin's Creed Valhalla was revealed last week. With some really cool concept art and then a pretty awesome cinematic trailer that I thought was really good. But the first gameplay is going to be revealed this Thursday.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's not just one evening of an event. Like, this is stretching out over the entire summer.
Yep.
So we're getting kind of a little drip feed and starting right away.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the gameplay for this game. It sounds like they're kind of in a good way taking the Red Dead 2 approach to your game being based out of a camp. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey again and slicing and dicing some fools. So it'll be fun to get back into that world.
What do you think of the setting?
Sorry?
What do you think of the setting?
I like it. I think going to Vikings, especially fighting against England, is a pretty cool idea. I know it's not, I think, what I want ultimately, but I'm very happy that they're doing it. I think the problem with it for me is it's too close to God of War recently in terms of time. However, they were probably already working on this when God of War came out. I have to imagine they were. And so at that point, I feel like you're too far along to change it. I know personally, and Luke, I'm sure, would agree with me, I'd rather go to Japan And I think I would take the story of like a disavowed samurai, but that's just me.
Yeah.
So I do want to make a quick clarification. So we have actually two different things happening. Summer of Games is IGN's digital event. And Summer Game Fest
Summer Game Fest
is Jeff Keighley's one. I knew I had heard both of them, and I was like, wait, that doesn't.
They're the same thing.
They, well, yeah.
Jeff's will be better.
Jeff's is going to be better, and I think it has more participants. But you can go to summergamefest.com and sign up for notifications if you're into that.
Yeah, their phase 1 is legit. WB Games is on there.
Get hyped.
Harry Potter RPG, baby.
New Batman game.
Yep.
For Assassin's Creed, I really, really liked Origins. I didn't play Odyssey because I thought the Greek setting felt uninspired. It's like, oh yeah, Greek, you know. It just seems like a fallback option to me.
You seem uninspired.
Your face is uninspired. And that's kind of how I felt with the Vikings too. Like, it just seems like I don't want to say easy choice, because making a video game by any standards at all, I have no idea to do it, and I guarantee I never will.
You know, they said,
and it's not easy.
They said 15 studios contributed to this game, and like that doesn't surprise me with as big as Assassin's Creed worlds are. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. But when I see the trailer, and the first thing I see is boats, and I'm like, I can't take it again.
Just because you have a personal vendetta against boats.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I don't imagine the Vikings didn't like run cannons off the side of their boats. I mean, their boats were specifically for transportation.
Yeah, my guess is boats will be a smaller part of it.
Burn the boats. Like, they literally would wash their boats up on shores, light them on fire, because there's no turning back, baby. We're taking this place. That is their mentality. I think the Norse stuff is so good for Assassin's Creed. They've always leaned into the mythology of whatever topic they choose or whatever region. And I think Norse will be fun. I'm excited to see what Ubi makes for Valhalla, because you know we're going to see it. You know, like, I'm excited about it. I mean, sure, it's probably the easy choice, right? I mean, what's hot right now? But I think,
and like, I even kind of think that too. Like, we both talk about it all the time. Like, oh, it'd be so awesome to go to Japan for the next Assassin's Creed. And I started thinking that too, because we've gotten Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima is coming out.
Right.
So I was like, oh, is that the same thing? Like, it's just another common thing.
Yeah.
And that's why when we were texting earlier in the week, I was like, what's a place that's like not been done?
India was one that you said.
And I said India, which I think would be really cool. They have a really amazing culture that I feel like it's, I guess, kind of been explored in some movies. Not really in American movies. You could do a lot of cool stuff with their history and culture and their religions. But then the other one I thought of was like Mayan and Aztec.
Yeah,
times.
South America.
And that's the one that's been on my mind, man. Like, to like place I don't know like all the timelines and who was
you know what I think
there when the conquistadors showed up, but like an invasion of conquistadors coming in, and you're like, no. We're taking these people down. Like, they're bringing the flu here, man.
I thought of immediately Apocalypto.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it.
And I was like, man, let's do it. I'm in.
Yeah. I think that'd be really sweet. That being said, Valhalla, the trailer was really good.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting and seeing on that one.
I will, depending on what this gameplay looks like Thursday, I will probably be getting that one day one. It'll be the first Assassin's Creed I've gotten day one since 3.
Did they have a release date?
Holiday.
Yep. That's my problem. My guess is my holiday is gonna be pretty full already, And so it's going to be one of those games that I'm like, maybe when like March rolls around, I'll pick it up, and then I just won't because I'll forget about it.
That's what happened to me
It's-
with Origins.
Assassin's Creed is like it's like a second tier game for me in terms of like what I'm going to spend my money on. Priority, right? You got your Destinies, you got your Halos, and then
Got your Minecraft.
just like yeah, my
You got your Minecraft. You can't even see my hand.
way down here. Yeah, so it's one that I think Black Flag was like that, and maybe Assassin's Creed 2 were maybe the only two that I bought like day one.
AC2 is the best Assassin's Creed.
AC2 is great. Man, that was a good game.
And it's not close.
No.
Have you played Origins?
Me?
And I haven't played Origins yet.
Oh.
So no, I cannot judge it.
Origins is good.
I hear good things.
That's good.
Over in movie world, due to the high success of Trolls World Tour, and apparently some taken out of context or maybe not taken out of context messaging, AMC they're being real ballsy.
You know, for
They're being trolls.
For-
They're trolling the trolls.
a company that's, bankrupt,
They're
this
like,
seems like a
"We're
ballsy
not
choice.
We're not going to show any Universal movies ever again." Okay. Look, I know they're not Disney. They don't bring in Disney money, but come on. You've got Fast
They're
and
not showing
Furious
Fast
9.
and Fast and Furious. Those movies
Those are billion-dollar movies.
trend around $1 billion.
That movie is coming out in AMC. That's my 2021 prediction.
I don't allow it. It's too obvious.
So there's a little back and forth. People kind of thought it would just kind of blow over and AMC would back down, and they haven't yet. I don't understand it.
They will. That or they'll go along the way of Movie Pass.
Yeah. Look, as much as I want to bag on we need them. We cannot have Regal be the only theater chain in America.
Yeah. Jeez.
Sorry, I don't have an Alamo Draft House in Wichita.
Right.
Or else they're going to go out of business like Diamond Publishing did, and we're going to maybe possibly not have comic books anymore.
Hey, is there a business opportunity there? Do we need to start our own theater chain?
Mm-hmm.
The
Yes.
fanboy theaters.
Let's do
Pitching
it.
it.
Copyrighted.
We just need
It's
some
on
startup
video.
money.
I got $5.
Right.
I've got this Mountain Dew
Kickstarter
can that I think
finished.
is probably worth 5 cents.
GoFundMe.com/fanboy theaters. That's not a real thing. Don't go there.
Is there any more news stories that you guys got?
It's Star Wars Day.
Happy Star Wars Day.
Simon's excited for Star Wars.
Brett has prepared a series of questions for us on Star Wars Day.
So I just wanted to talk about Star Wars in general. We kind of talked some about the news stories.
Yeah, we
which-
talked about Taika for 30 minutes.
Very exciting. Don't
Which
be
is
mad
good.
at me.
No,
You're
it's
happy
good.
about it.
I am happy
I
about
don't
it.
think that. I honestly don't think that's long enough. We should talk about Taika more.
I just want to let's talk about Star Wars, kind of the legacy, some of our favorite things. We want to foster a positive conversation. We like to, as fans, as fanboys, we like to nitpick and talk in depth about what we love and what we don't love so much.
What?
I've never done that in my life.
Hey, watch this. There's a person in my room right now. Hey, Hunter, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? He's a new Star Wars fan, so what's your favorite? Hurry up. Hurry up. Clock's ticking.
Give him a countdown.
He said 5 is his favorite.
Ooh,
That's a smart guy.
classic. He's a smart.
Dana,
guy.
so I asked Dana today, her favorite was 7 because it was the first
Oh.
one she watched that she was old enough to be aware of what was going on. Like that it was
sense.
completely new, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of a cool kind of perspective on
Mhm.
that." And I even
Yeah.
asked people at work today because
Nice. What'd you get?
that's what I do. I go around and ask people about stuff for the podcast. So couple responses I got. A lot of people say 5, right? So when typically what I'll do is like if you say 5, I'll be like, okay, what's your second favorite? Because 5 is
Yeah.
such a popular choice. I mean, it's my favorite. One person said Rogue One was their second favorite Star Wars movie, and I was like, man. He was like, yeah,
Good
it's
for
probably not a very
them.
popular opinion, but Rogue One is my second favorite. I was like, dang, dude, that's awesome. Brett, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Last Jedi, baby. Ride or die.
Very nice. Very nice.
That,
Luke?
that one really resonated with me. Empire is right below it. So
It's a good
Do I
choice.
have to
hopefully I
pick a
haven't
movie?
lost all of my credibility with you guys.
You never lost credibility. Different strokes
Oh,
for
good.
different folks, man.
Love it.
Luke, what's your
Luke?
favorite?
Movie?
Yeah.
My favorite movie
Your
is Empire.
Okay.
Second favorite would be Star Wars original.
So, I said the ballsy thing of I think 3 is my second favorite.
Oh yeah.
I
I need
really
to bring up my Star Wars rankings.
I'm going off the cuff right now, but I know that 5, 4, and 3 are all very close for me. I think 7, 8, and 9. 8's pretty low for me, but 7 and 9 are the low end of the middle. Well, maybe not 7, but 8 and 9 are definitely the low end of the middle. 8's lower, but there's definitely things I like about every single movie. So
Yeah. Well,
All right. Since the last time I ranked the Star Wars movies, because I do it every couple of weeks, because I get bored and I love Star Wars. My rankings of the movies have not changed.
nice.
So.
You're consistent. I love it.
I feel like I've been pretty consistent as well. I think since the last time we maybe talked about this on, I don't know if it was on air or off air. I think 9 is maybe skipped down a few, but other than that, yeah. But can we talk a little bit about the ones that we haven't mentioned here? Tyler, you mentioned Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
So we've mentioned one prequel.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some of our favorite prequel moments, because I think those are films that are underloved a little bit in the general audience terms.
No, absolutely.
What are you guys' some of your favorite moments from prequels?
Just, I guess, real quick, just on prequels in general, I feel like people liked them when they first came out, then they got really hard on them, and now they're starting to kind of be appreciated again. Not just because the sequel trilogy's been all over the place, but people are just kind of like, I was a kid and I liked them. Like, that's kind of how I was. Like,
Yeah.
for a while, I'm pretty sure Attack of the Clones was my favorite Star Wars movie.
Oh, for sure. That was me
'Cause
for a
Django,
long time.
like, but then you watch it when you're older and you're like, oh, and then you're like, oh, and Revenge of the Sith is trash too. But like, Revenge of the Sith is my third favorite movie.
Dude, that movie's good. The movie's good. It blows my mind when I go back and kind of look at the prequels. I mean, I think it goes without saying, Duel of the Fates is like one of the best. It's my personal favorite lightsaber duel in all of Star Wars. And even like going back and watching it now, it doesn't look great. Like, like from an effects standpoint, it doesn't look that good. But I love Duel of the Fates. Everything, the action, the music, the build up, the moments, when they're running through the freaking, what are the laser doors?
The
gates, yeah, and they have to sit there and wait. I just love the anticipation build up. Ah, man, it's so good. Duel of the Fates is I think one of my favorite cinematic moments ever.
I guess from Phantom Menace, I feel like it's visually, I'd probably say, the best part of the movie. I feel like it gets ragged because it's not important, but I kind of feel like it shows how powerful Anakin is at, how old is he in that movie? 10 years old? 9 years old? but it's the pod racing scene.
Dude, the pod racing scene's great.
It's just some really low key lines. I feel like gets shoved aside. He's like, "I'm the only human who can do it." Let's think about this for a bit. If no human can do it, but he's died, just going woo, getting first place.
He's Mario Kart.
He's obviously super powerful at a super young age, and plus just the visuals and the no music, where it's like a race car movie, and then going into that final lap where the bum 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 kind of kicks in, and like your anticipation, kind of like with the laser, starts growing, where it's just him versus blah blah. I love that scene.
Yeah, I definitely. It's in the context of the movie, it's not my favorite thing, but by itself, I totally agree with you. I think that it is fantastically shot, which I don't think some of the prequel stuff is not my favorite cinematography, but I think that stuff is really well done. And you're absolutely right. It does show you just how powerful he is. I think one of my favorite things out of Phantom Menace is Maul. He was a great, and that's something that the original trilogy did really well too, was introduce characters or villains without a lot of information and make you care about them. Maul was like a really intriguing villain. I think maybe because you knew so much about Sidious at that point, right? Like, it's kind of an open secret on like who he is, for the audience at least. And so, like, who is this guy? And then to be able to see him further on in TV shows and stuff like that was really cool. That they went back and built on who he is as a character.
Attack of the Clones. I mean, for me, it's just got to be the clone battle
on Geonosis.
Yeah. It's not my favorite moment, maybe, but just to kind of see an actual war in Star Wars is always really cool. And to see the clones all show up and just be like, yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it had a little bit of that, Han Solo flying in to save the day in A New Hope kind of feel, right? They kind of recreate that only on like a huge scale, which was really, really cool. I think for me, my favorite thing about Attack of the Clones is just Obi-Wan's like side quest, right? Like his little adventure, like discovering Kamino, figuring out what that means. There's like an interesting mystery there that is never really resolved. There's an example of a mystery box done well. Like they kind of explain it, I think, in the books or in
Clone Wars. They
talk a little bit about
they go into it, yeah,
like who actually set this up, and
who's Sifo Dyas?
Yeah, who is Sifo Dyas? But Ian McGregor really gets to shine there, and I mean, I think we all probably think he's one of the better things that come out of the prequel trilogy, all in all. And so to have him go on this little adventure and see Jango Fett and eventually Boba, I think that was really cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think my favorite thing about Attack of the Clones is Obi-Wan. I mean, just as a character, I think that's when he really takes off. Obviously, that's when you really kind of get to know who Obi-Wan is. I mean, you get a little bit of that in Phantom Menace, but 2 is where you really learn about Obi-Wan and his beliefs and kind of where he stands.
Well, there's this interesting dynamic with him and Anakin in 2 that you don't see as much in 3 because they're separated so much, but that like in your head, that like this is a completely different actor playing Anakin, but it's the same actor playing Obi-Wan. they're way closer in age than than they should be, and how much is Obi-Wan portrayed actually as like a Jedi Knight and council member, and that wisdom. I don't like. There's just that interesting power play where Anakin talks about things like, I'm like better than Obi-Wan at this stuff, but he's a master, and I like, and to see how how their relationship builds in this movie, I think is really, really cool.
Agreed.
Which brings us to Revenge of the Sith, a movie that you guys both rank really, really high.
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot to love for you guys.
There is. Yeah. I might go through some of these quick because I don't want to steal one that you guys might say.
Yeah.
The opening scene, the battle over Coruscant, I think is spectacular.
I think that's might be the best opening scene in any Star Wars movie.
All the stuff with Obi-Wan chasing down Grievous. I love. Order 66.
Yeah.
The culling of the Jedi. The final battle, like, it's just, I just love all of it, man. I know, like, some of the acting is not really on point with, like, Hayden and some of the other characters, but I just can't help it. And I feel like a lot of my love for Revenge of the Sith, honestly, comes from Clone Wars. It made me just really appreciate what Lucas was going for, but just couldn't really do in 2 movies.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Phantom Menace doesn't really go there. And watching now 7 seasons of Clone Wars, and I can see that journey that Anakin went through, and it just makes that final battle between brothers so much more devastating.
Yeah.
And I just love it.
Yeah, I think, just the build of knowing who Anakin is the whole time, and just finally getting to see it come to fruition. I think, I mean, you could put that to any subject, right? But like with Star Wars, Darth Vader, right? It just means so much, and to finally see it happen, to see how he ended up in the suit, to see, the kid that Anakin was turning into the monster he's become. Like, it's just so nice to finally get that end cap. That makes Revenge of the Sith so much fun. And Luke kind of covered, the bullet point list of just awesome things in that movie.
Everything.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to go through them quick so I don't steal them. And you're like, okay, well. But no, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy that movie quite a bit.
Yeah. I think for me, if I had to pick one thing out of there, I'd probably say Grievous, actually. I think he's a really interesting villain. Way more interesting than Count Dooku, personally. I think that idea of like almost a wannabe Force user who's,
sometimes the fake gangsters are scarier than the real gangsters.
Right, he's supplementing Force power with technology, and I think that's kind of an interesting thing. And he gets 4 lightsabers. Holy crap!
Yeah, that's dope. And they're not all red. And he's a bad guy.
Yes.
Like, that's so cool
another
to me.
breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It's like, who is this guy? And I also appreciate that Lucas leaned into the darker side of Star Wars in this movie. He wasn't really afraid to make it. It has lighthearted moments for sure, but he wasn't afraid to imply what Anakin was doing at the Jedi Temple. Like, that is truly horrific stuff that I don't think JJ would do.
Yeah.
Just for example, like, that's not his style of filmmaking, and I think it was really brave might be a strong word, but I applaud Lucas for
you're a bold one.
for really putting that out there.
Yeah. I think, a moment that I think about as a kid was so awesome is Yoda fighting. As an
Mm-hmm.
adult, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But like as a kid, like Yoda finally, picking up the lightsaber and going for it. Pretty cool moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Because we hear about
Indeed.
how
And like,
strong he is all this time, and then you finally get to see it. So
yeah. And then like Brett, you mentioned like the opening of this one is probably the best. I hands down think it's probably the best. Just you pan down and you see the bottom of the ship and the music. The music. This is the best Star Wars soundtrack in my opinion.
Mm.
The themes, they're darker.
Yeah.
They're less Williams poppy. Like even Vader's theme is bum 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 bum. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
But like the battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan with the bum 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 bum, like it's so just sad. But like even kind of back to my original point, the opening song where you see that ship panning over Coruscant, it's just the oh, it just gets my heart racing, man. I just love it so much. I might have to watch Revenge of the Sith, especially after watching.
Yeah, I say I need to go back and revisit it. It's been actually I watched it again not too long ago, but I think I fell asleep watching it. So
I last time I watched it was before 9 came out, and I rewatched all of them. So.
yeah.
Me
Which
dos.
that takes us into chronologically, or
Rogue
do
One.
we? I don't know what order. What order are we doing these in?
We can briefly jump
What do
through
you-
Solo and Rogue One, right? I mean,
Yeah, so we got Solo.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot it.
we're trying to be positive here.
I'm sorry.
So Rogue One, was actually really good. I don't have anything positive to say about Solo, guys. I'm sorry.
I'll throw out there. I do think.
Oh, I do have one
that-
positive thing.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
I'm so glad Lord and Miller got fired because they made Spider-Verse.
My positive thing would be casting Alden Ehrenreich. I think he did took an impossible job, honestly, and I thought he did good.
Yeah.
He got better as the movie went on. I thought that was kind of cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say Alden and then Childish Gambino.
Oh, Donald Glover.
Lando.
Yeah, shoot.
Donald
Yeah,
Glover.
he's really good.
I totally
I
forgot
think
he's in the movie.
Those two guys both really portray, I think, those characters really well.
Yeah.
And they do a lot with what they're given, which I think is honestly kind of bland, but they spice it up just because of their personalities.
Sorry, I
also-
just thought about Keegan-Michael Key went on the Conan podcast and he was talking about when he met Billy D. Williams.
Mhm.
And you got to hear him talk about it. It's I'll find the clip and send it to you guys. It's so freaking
Please do.
funny. Apparently Billy D. Williams is just a huge pimp.
Oh, that does not surprise me at all.
Sorry, I'll send you guys a clip. I'm sorry. I can't stop.
The other thing in Solo that I guess I like, but I don't know. It's weird because I didn't like what they did,
Mm-hmm.
but I liked what they were trying to do. When Maul shows up, I didn't like it. It felt forced, but it was the first time we had seen stuff from Clone Wars and Rebels pop up in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yes.
It's like validation.
Validation for those
these
cartoons
shows
that
are
were kid
awesome.
shows.
Yeah.
It's like, no, those are canon. Those are important. They have a lot of lore and stories that are going to that feed into these stories that technically have already happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciated that.
Yeah. One last thing on Solo, I really did like the Kessel Run. I think that I didn't in the context of everything else, and it just kind of feeling like a checkbox. I didn't appreciate it in that regard, but I thought the little heist on Kessel itself was fun, breaking out the Wookiees and the slaves. everything there, the Imperial blockade that they have to escape, getting through the maelstrom. I thought that was all really well shot. It was good action. I thought it was entertaining up until they actually get to their final planet, and then there's maybe some pacing issues there. But yeah, Solo. It was a movie. It happened.
A Star Wars story.
It did happen.
Tyler,
Wikipedia
talk
happened
about
too.
something that you do enjoy. I want you to talk about something you do enjoy. Talk about some Rogue One.
Yes, I do like this movie. I felt weird about after I watched it. I wasn't like all in on it, but as time has gone and as I've revisited it, I really like that movie. I think one of the most impressive things about Rogue One to me is like we know how that story was going to end, right? Like you go into that movie and you're like, man, everybody's going to die, right? Like
It's gonna be heavy,
right? And so, like when I think about that kind of plot, like when that's your story, you really got to make me care about those characters because ultimately this is it. I mean, why should I care about them? They're not going to be here anymore after this. And so I thought they did a good job with their casting. Is her name Felicity?
Felicity Jones.
Felicity Jones did a really good job in that movie. I wasn't sure that I would like it, but she gave her character likable qualities. I mean,
Yeah.
and a character I know was going to die, right?
Mm-hmm.
But being able to root for her still is important when you try to tell that kind of story. And so I think that's what impresses me most about Rogue One is know where it goes, but the characters still make you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great cast. I agree. Luke?
For me, this is really similar to Attack of the Clones. I mean, except for this movie's way better. But I love seeing the wars in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And the third act of this movie on Scarif and the battle in
Full
outer
war,
space
baby.
above Scarif.
Oh man,
Like you've got to be kidding me with how good it is. I think it's the best space battle
Yeah.
we've gotten, and
Agreed.
I think it's the best third act we've gotten.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
in a Star Wars
Love it.
movie. Yeah, they made me care about not just the main characters. When the rebel troops show up and they're just trying to help them out, like I cared about them. They had 15 seconds of screen time, and they're dying all over the place. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is chaos. Like this is horrible in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I felt like I was watching like Apocalypse Now in Star Wars. Like all this crazy stuff is going on. There's no hope, and
I think that's what is awesome.
Just an
though.
awesome war movie they gave me.
Right. That's what's awesome is they do lean into the kind of the darker side of Star Wars, right? Like you talked about in Revenge of the Sith. Like, they always fight and they always win, and like they win in this, but like a lot of people lose too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to,
and it's
to win, you have to lose.
right. And so like I think that's just I don't know. It's heavy. It's a heavier movie for Star Wars.
That and just like the fact that like the rogue pilot just dies. He just dies. It's like, yeah, that would probably happen.
Yeah,
Bummer,
they
dude.
certainly don't shy away from some of that stuff. For me, I think maybe my favorite part of this is actually, man, I have a soft spot for villains. Does that make me bad? I think Mads Mikkelsen is a fantastic antagonist in this movie. It's really the first time we get to see a main villain not be a Sith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not someone with a red lightsaber at the other end of the conflict. I mean, there is. We get to see an awesome scene with Vader at the end,
Yeah.
but like,
I watch that about every month or two.
yeah, just that one
Yep.
scene. Having him, Krennic is his character's name. Krennic's relationship to Jyn and her father. Who did I say was the villain?
Mads
It's not
Mikkelsen?
Mads Mikkelsen. Mads Mikkelsen's Galen or Urso.
Her dad.
Why can't I think of his name right now?
He is. Oh my gosh, what is his name? We're horrible people. He's the bad guy in Ready Player One too.
It's Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben
That's it.
Mendelsohn. Oh my gosh.
Bendo.
See, at least I caught myself. Mads Mikkelsen, also fantastic supporting actor. In
He's
this movie.
really good in this movie too.
But Ben Mendelsohn, like,
He's a
I
great
really
bad guy, though.
appreciated. He does play a good bad guy over many different films. But seeing him play against Tarkin, who like him or like the CGI or not, I think that's a really interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
To not make him the big bad, like he's still not the big bad, but he is the big bad of this story, of this contained story. But it gives you more character depth there, and I'm a sucker for give me complicated villains with regrets and loves and yeah. So really, I also really enjoy this movie's score.
Yeah.
The first Star Wars movie not scored by John Williams. And I thought Michael Giacchino did great, weaving in themes and such throughout it. Yeah, it's good stuff.
No comment.
Did you like Solo's John Powell score better than Rogue One?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like John Powell was trying to do something, just not replicate Williams, which is what I felt Giacchino was doing.
Yeah. Oh,
where he's
for
like,
sure.
"Oh, I gotta make this sound like Williams because it goes straight into."
Giacchino was
New Hope,
absolutely playing off Williams.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I was listening to the soundtracks before Rise of Skywalker came out because I was trying to figure out, which ones do I like the most, which ones do I like the least, and I was like listening to Solo and Rogue One back to back, like going back and forth, because I was like, what do I think about these? Because like Giacchino's isn't bad; it's not bad at all. But yeah, I like Powell's more because I felt like he was trying to do something a little bit more diverse with Star Wars.
I don't know this for sure,
thing on it, his own spin.
but I feel like
Yeah.
they hired Powell probably because of something like How to Train Your Dragon. Like he knows
Absolutely.
how to make you feel like ethereal or like flight, and Solo is all about the Falcon and flying.
Yep.
There's just a ton. He wants to be a pilot, right? And so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
going to be a pilot.
I hear that in the score, and I really like that too. It's very different, and I guess I applaud them for not just doing the same thing, which I guess Giacchino maybe did a little more of that safer.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think Giacchino only had like 3 or 4
weeks.
weeks to
He
make
came in
this thing.
late. Somebody else was doing it, and they're like, "Giacchino, please make this." He's like, okay.
Okay, write me a check.
All right. Should we breeze through the OT, or do you want to go to the new stuff?
Let's keep going in order.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just keep going. New Hope.
Anybody want to go first? or-
All of it?
Yeah, I was going to say all of it.
Yeah. All of
Welcome
it.
to Star Wars.
If I had to pick one thing, I'd probably say Han Solo. He really Luke, I think, is maybe written a little.
He's written like a child.
He's written like a child. I think Luke's way better in 5 and 6, and Leia's great. But I think Harrison Ford brought that real comedy to Star Wars that we never really lose, even in our dark movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Luke is one of my favorite characters, but yeah, it's because of 5 and 6, not because of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, it's the trench run. This is like one of the ultimate pinnacle Star Wars scenes. Like, it's the classic, and it probably has a lot to do with it. Like, this is the ultimate finale to Star Wars. This is this dogfight in space, and we're just gonna fly down this hole, and that's it. But like with the Williams score and some impressive effects for 1979,
Yeah.
it works so well, and I love that final dogfight.
I mean, you guys nailed it, right? Those are the two
Yeah,
best things in
of
that
course we
movie.
did.
But I think I really like Old Man Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
I just,
Run, Luke, run.
yeah, I like him. I like Ben when he comes back and he meets Luke. And just kind of that dynamic of like when he's explaining his father to him
Mm-hmm.
without giving away who it is. I just
Mhm.
think it's a cool dynamic, and it creates great tension moving forward in the series.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it's for me, it's weird to think back on these or like rewatch them because you watch the sequels or the prequels, and there's so much going on. 4, 5, and 6 are like
They're pretty straightforward.
they're pretty dang simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a thing that Star Wars has lost is simplicity and just making a good story, good characters, make it fun. Not everything needs to be focused around a twist or something wild happening. Just make a good movie, baby.
Agreed. All right, your guys' favorite, Empire. My second favorite. What do you
All
got
of
for
it.
that? All of it.
Every single freaking second of this
Yeah.
movie.
Every frame.
I favorite moment. All right, I'm gonna take 2. Sorry.
Do it? No, it's fine.
That is the opening and the ending.
Mm.
The Hoth battle and the lightsaber fight on Cloud City.
I was going to say,
Especially after you watch 4 and you see that lightsaber fight, and it's just so lame.
yeah.
And then in 5, you're like, oh, cool, they're going to fight with lightsabers again. Oh my goodness, they're swinging those things hard. What changed? And it's like, that's a dope, that's my favorite lightsaber battle, mainly because it's the first good one. The
Yeah.
classic, I am your father,
Mm-hmm.
all goes into that. It's not the best choreographed one, but it's my favorite. But
Sure.
yeah, and then the Hoth battle was just, it's so awesome.
I was going to say,
It
battle.
makes no sense, but
The Hoth battle is my favorite part of that movie. Granted, that's hard to say because I enjoy so much of it, but the Hoth battle is so fun, and I always think back to. Did you guys ever play the Nintendo 64 Star Wars game where you did the Hoth battle and you had to trip up the walkers?
I sadly
have a
did not.
64.
No.
Oh man, I always think back to like sitting in my living room and playing that, and how much I enjoyed it, and then getting to watch it on the movie. It was always really exciting.
I remember
Yeah.
doing it in Lego Star Wars, and you'd cable these bombs and throw them at the AT-ATs. I'm like, I don't remember this in the movie.
No, in this one you had to trip them,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember
Yeah.
the guns would go on the video game, and I loved it.
Classic. I'll go with something neither of you mentioned.
But you are
I'll
not
say
a Jedi
Yoda.
yet. Sorry, you'll say what?
Yoda.
Oh yeah,
And actually, more than just Yoda, I think this movie does something really interesting that I don't know if any other Star Wars does really well. I've kind of mentioned it with the villains, but introducing us to new characters that are like instantly like classics. Like we got Boba Fett, we got Lando, we got Yoda, and they all became almost as iconic as the original 3 characters, which is crazy.
yeah.
I just, for whatever reason, I don't know who gets credit with that, if that's Lucas or if that's Kasdan or if that's who direct Kirshner, but
Him. He gets credit.
he probably gets the most credit.
Him and Kazin, I would probably say, yeah.
Yeah, great casting choices, and just to introduce us to a whole new slew of characters that we care about instantly, I think is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And then we get to the end of another trilogy.
Revenge of the Jedi.
Skirt.
Return of the
Hold
Jedi.
Jedi don't do revenge.
Original title. Whoop whoop.
Who wants to go
what's my
first?
favorite?
Do you have a favorite thing?
Favorite.
Where do you guys rank this one?
This
I'm
one's
just curious.
weird for me. Probably around the 5 or 6 range.
This one's
4.
weird for me too.
I don't know, 5 or 6, somewhere in there.
I love so much of this movie, but it's really the Ewoks that kind of get to me. Because not because they look weird or because they're killing all the stormtroopers and it's like, how are these things so popular? It's just that you spend so much time with them
Yeah,
where nothing happens, really.
I feel like this
Yeah.
movie feels way longer than it is because of the Ewoks. But I think one of my favorite moments in the movie is 2 things. One, I love the green lightsaber. Huge fan of the green
yeah.
lightsaber. It's actually my favorite. 2, I love the speeder fight in the woods.
Yeah.
Super dope. Also, I always remember seeing what are the speeder troopers called? I guess
The Scout Troopers?
Scout troopers. Seeing them fly into the trees and stuff, I was always like, man, how do they do that? As a kid, like, there's just so many fun moments like that.
Yep.
I think the Scout Troopers maybe have my favorite
Helmet, dude, their helmet's
Yeah.
dope.
Their helmet is so cool.
Love it.
It's got like the little visor over the top. They look
Yeah.
like they can
It's
actually
like
see.
It's like the most simplified version of a Stormtrooper helmet. Maybe that's why I like it. Minimalist Brett over here.
Yeah, the Ewok second act for me is super boring. But thankfully it leads into the third act. Probably, I don't know if it's my second, but I think it's one of the best third acts because you got 3 incredible things going on. You have a really good lightsaber battle / I guess, the ultimate I'm not going to fight you moment because you're my dad.
The
and I'm
final
gonna bring you back to the light.
confrontation.
Yeah, like, just so well done. You got a really entertaining space battle, and then you also got the battle on Endor, where it works so well together, and with so much going on, you never get confused. It's never dull once all that starts. It's just a lot of fun. Plus, I mean, once again, like, Star Wars was ahead of its time visually. It's just so good. Plus,
Yeah.
I really dig Luke's black outfit with the green lightsaber. I think the black outfit too is because you think, oh, he's in black, he's probably going bad. Uh-oh. So,
I think that might be my favorite thing. Actually, is the evolution of Luke's, or maybe not even evolution, but just that implication that Luke's character may be flirting with like some darker things. And then at the end, obviously he's not, like, he comes through that, but you do kind of have this weird, like, oh, he's force choking dudes in the first 3 minutes of this movie, right? Jedi don't force choke anyone.
They don't fork chose people. I'm gonna get you like my macaroni.
And then how he dresses. Star Wars has never been subtle with, like, just identifying what side you're on based on
Your
what
outfit,
you're wearing.
yeah.
So yeah, we get a really cool look into maybe what he's been going through. And that final throne room scene is great. I think it's, one of the better choreographed fights, especially again for its time. It's, maybe doesn't stand up to some of the choreography we see in here in recent years.
Boy, you get to chop that wood in that one though.
I love my Luke Skywalker chopping wood, baby.
Oh yeah.
Bring it on. The best Luke Skywalker is when he's chopping wood. That's when he's at his best.
Ah, okay.
Keep chopping wood, Luke.
When the hate is flowing through him.
Yeah.
I see where you
Absolutely.
land.
Not hate, just wants to keep warm. He's chopping wood.
But yeah, kind of like Luke, what you said, that in the ending of "I'm not going to fight you," I think that's really powerful, and it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's one of the things that makes him one of a Jedi above what we get to see in the prequels.
Yeah, and then I kind of gets two things. One real quick, it's kind of just become a meme now. I don't think there was any creative foresight with it at all. When Luke's like up top and he's like, Darth Vader's like, "Oh, Obi-Wan taught you well," and they're like, the meme now is because he has the high ground.
Oh yeah,
That's what Obi-Wan had. I just love the meme that was created from that. I thought it was so funny. But then just the opening scene once again. Well, I guess not the opening scene, but the opening act with the sail barge action sequence.
Yeah.
And the Sarlacc pit.
And the butthole in the sand.
conveniently got a mouth.
Is that the butthole cut
20
that
years
Ryan
later.
Johnson was tweeting about?
I'm excited to get to the Ryan Johnson movie.
Oh, we're not there yet, because first we have to talk about JJ's first entry into Star Wars land with The Force Awakens.
Wait, what's Star Wars land? Can I go there?
Yes. Well, not right now. Disney parks are closed.
Dang it.
Sorry.
There's no point to life.
Nope. Can't build my own lightsaber? What am I even doing here?
The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
Did it awaken?
I guess so.
Awakening. Have you felt it?
According to Snoke, it did.
Snoke.
Favorite things about this one.
Finn
Finn is great.
Finn is awesome.
Honestly,
The only
the whole ensemble. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Talk more about Finn.
Oh no, I was gonna say this is like his best movie in the new trilogy. That's
I
it.
agree with that.
That's the end of it.
Um,
I feel like he
yeah,
kind of
Brett
got
mentioned
sidelined
just
after that one.
yeah. Brett mentioned just the new cast. Yeah, they're all great, and all three specifically Adam Driver. What a snag!
Yes.
Like, to grab him right before, honestly, he starts getting all this
Before he gets famous.
really big Oscar buzz type fame, to also be a part of Star Wars was just like perfect timing.
He is the introduction of Kylo Ren is just again an opening scene that is just so good. When he stops the blaster bolt and it just sits there while he's just carrying on about his business, and then like he gets on a ship and it just resumes its path. That is so like to me. I was like, oh my goodness, this dude is on another level.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was such a cool way to introduce him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and acting opposite him in that scene, Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
Like, I can believe in a writer's room why they would, kill off that character fairly early on. But as soon as they casted Oscar Isaac, they're like, oh no, we gotta find a way for him to survive. Totally the right choice, because he has got just charisma and energy spewing out of him.
Yes, he does.
And then also, of course, the heroine of this new trilogy, Daisy Ridley as Rey. I don't know if she was given that much to do in this particular movie.
She's along for the ride for most of it.
She's more
It was
just
kind
along
of-
for the ride.
It was a kind of a cloak and dagger. They're kind of hiding her.
Yeah.
They
throughout
do.
This movie.
They really make you think that maybe Boyega is kind of like going to be the
new Jedi.
the new Jedi, and then kind of at the end, it's like, oh no, actually,
What?
Yeah, I liked.
it's going to be this kid who is essentially Luke. Oh, who would have guessed?
Yeah. I think it'd be cool to see a take where it was Finn.
Mm-hmm.
A stormtrooper who didn't believe in their ideals, who became a Jedi. who always was a Jedi, or a Force user. I think that would have been really cool. But
Yeah,
Kind of along those same lines, I think it'd be really cool to see a version where Oscar Isaac does die,
yeah,
is killed by Kylo Ren, and is put in those bowl of ashes. And it's like, if he dies, a lot of stuff doesn't happen in this movie, because who does Finn escape with?
Yep.
Right.
Like, just off the bat right there, that's changing a whole lot of things, and that'd be really interesting to see.
I agree.
It would.
Favorite thing in the movie for me is probably, oh man, I really do like Rey and Kylo's lightsaber duel at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty short, it's fine, but I think it's well choreographed. I think it's really cool in the forest in the snow. I think
At night,
yeah,
the way the light
It's
is used.
very
good.
well shot, very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the way the lights are used in that scene are really good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Right.
On
on
to
to
the best Star Wars movie of all time. Brett's favorite, Episode
Tyler
8,
said it.
The Last Jedi. Brett,
Well,
don't
no,
go for 30 minutes. It's after 10.
I will not go for 30 minutes. I am going to let you guys go first, though, because I don't want to take one of the few things that I think you guys probably like. So, because I can pick out of 100. So you talk for your 3 minutes, and then I'll talk for my 25.
I'll talk for like 2 minutes.
Okay, cool.
I have two things I really like about this movie. The first one I'll say, the dynamic between Rey and Kylo. Kind of exploring that they both see something in each other that they want to take advantage of. One is more the hero trying to save the other, and the other one is using them for his advantage. I think that's really cool. My second, and this is probably my favorite thing about the whole movie, is the exploration of the Force and how they use the powers differently. I think this movie has the most unique ways that the Force is used of all of them. And I think that's a huge credit to that writer's room, and being willing to step out on that ledge and do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
So huge kudos to them for that.
Yeah, I loved what they did with Kylo and Rey and their connection through the Force. I thought that was really, really interesting. And then it kind of covers a lot of things, but visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good. Like the snap scene is gorgeous, and then the obvious one, the light speed punch. I
The
guess.
light speed
Yeah.
kamikaze run.
Yeah, that is definitely my favorite moment in the movie. It's just like, oh yeah, they're gonna do this. They're gonna do this. That's pretty cool. Oh my gosh, that's one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen.
I don't think it would ever happen, but if by chance Ryan doesn't come back to direct another Star Wars movie, I would love it if another director got their hands on Steve Yeldon and had him be DP for another Star Wars. I think he was phenomenal. Like what you said, it was just beautiful. I think almost every frame of this movie is beautiful, except maybe that green milk, that maybe not so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. All right, Brett, take it away, my man. This is your shining moment. You just won the gold medal at the Olympics.
One shining moment. So I'll say two things. First, I'll say the Praetorian Guard fight. After we get the demise of Snoke, we have a fantastic team up between someone. I mean, at this point, maybe they're both kind of gray in terms of like they're not sure where they want to be. But a red lightsaber and a blue lightsaber get to fight together. I think it's extremely well choreographed, beautifully shot, just not full of dumb intercuts. Oftentimes it's just step back and get to see the action. And then secondly, Luke's redemption story. I know a lot of people don't love that Luke started off as an old grumpy man in this film. That said, I don't think that's necessarily where Rian Johnson wanted him either, but I think it's where he felt he needed to start in order to have the arc that he had to make him the legend. And that's the whole crux of Luke's arc comes to that line he says early on to Rey, "What do you think, I'm gonna stand in front of the entire First Order and face him down with my laser sword?" Like, but he does in the end. He realizes that he was wrong to go and remove himself from the Force, and he is that spark of hope to ignite the rebellion in the face of an overwhelming First Order. So those are my two things that I'll mention.
Over under, how long could you go on? 2.5 hours.
Over. I'm hammering the over. I know Brett loves that movie, and I'm so glad he does. Because every movie that is made is for someone, and that one
That's
was
right.
made
And that
for
one's
Brett.
for me. That one is absolutely made for me.
No, I've watched that movie now 4 times, and I think each time I watch it, I find something new that I do enjoy. So, but there's still that one glaring thing I don't like, and we'll save that for future episodes when episode 10 is announced.
There we go. Perfect. Well, before we get to episode 10, we obviously have to talk about episode 9,
Right.
our newest Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. Take it away, boys. What do you like?
I think this one has a lot of good duels in it. I know a lot of people complained about no lightsaber on lightsaber duels in Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they overcompensated in this one or not, but I thought they were
They sure
I thought
didn't
they were
shy
all
away
enjoyable.
from it.
Yeah. But my favorite part was, I mean, there's the obvious complaints with this one that it was fixing The Last Jedi, and trying to just bring everything together. But I really appreciated how they took the best thing from The Last Jedi, in my opinion, which was the Force connection between Rey and Kylo, and expanding on it.
The
Yeah.
freaking
Which is what
fight
you
on
should
Kylo's
do
ship,
in
dude.
a sequel. It was so great, and like when he grabs her necklace, and you start to realize that this is more than just like a connection. Like it's
Physical.
more important than that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like it really started to expand on that, and I really liked that they didn't get nervous about all the backlash that maybe half the fans had, and they were all whining about it.
Yeah.
Did you just raise your hand?
Yeah, I whined
Okay.
about it. I was one of those people.
I couldn't tell if you were doing that or if you were just like resituating.
No, I was one of the whiners.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry. Sorry, Brett.
I'm not sorry. It's my opinion, but
The other thing was,
I'll
I felt
1v2 you any day. Let's go, boys.
I'll slap your hair off. I really also enjoyed the addition of more Force powers. I love the Force. I love it when they do fun stuff with the Force, and they had done it in Mandalorian as, I guess, like a little precursor, so
week
it was
before.
already canon. But to add like the Force healing and then some other stuff, and then to add more Force connection between Rey and Kylo was, I thought, the best part.
I like this movie. But I think the more I think about it, the more holes I poke in it. But one of my favorite things, I think overall for the new trilogy, is Kylo's arc. And regardless of, the cherry topper at the end of this, I really do enjoy Kylo's redemption throughout this movie. And I think the turning point that really like strikes the chord is when, spoiler alert, I know this just hit Disney Plus today, and there's people who have not seen it, so spoiler alert. But when he sees Han after his battle with Rey, that scene is really strong, and that's when Kylo realizes, he even says the line, "I know what I have to do."
Podcast.
I from that moment on for Kylo, I think is so good. I think it's very well handled, and it is probably it cements Kylo as one of my favorite Star Wars characters.
Yep.
And I loved it. I really have nothing other than maybe one little kiss to complain about.
Yeah. Well, like how you guys
I think I like The
don't
Last
have
Jedi
as-
more than you hate The Rise of Skywalker.
So again, like earlier in the episode, I kind of mentioned that I saw the behind the scenes stuff. So I think even today I've gained more appreciation for what they were trying to do. But really the only thing that hard to say the only thing, I guess. The thing I do appreciate the most is exactly what you just said, is Han, is Ben and Han having that moment. And specifically the line where Ben he wants to say I love you, but he can't, and Harrison goes, I know. Oh, that is good. And whether or not you really want that redemption story, I'm more in the camp where it's like, I think it would have been more interesting to see him be the big bad of this movie. But if you're going to give us that redemption story, I think they did a good job there in that moment. And Adam Driver's obviously talented enough that he can sell us that.
I was the same. I wanted him to lean into villain, but honestly, after that scene, I was like, we're good.
We're
that
good.
works.
He definitely
Good job.
he definitely gives a nuanced performance throughout the whole new trilogy, and he does a great job.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know if this will be controversial or not, but the final sequence, the final battle, where they're on that planet that I don't remember the name of it.
Exegol?
Seagull.
The bit where Rey is starting to connect with the Force and hears all the Force ghosts talking behind her. I really do like that scene. I thought that was cool, and it was once again nice to hear characters from like the Clone Wars. And also, I don't care that I don't care. I liked that she chose to be a Skywalker at the end. I'm probably one of small few that actually liked that. I thought that was cool.
I think it fits thematically with what they were going for, so I don't really have that much of a problem with it.
Yeah. It was kind of like I think I like the choice. I don't think I like the way it was executed.
Honestly, I think for me, it's more of like I had to watch. Not to get negative, it was the amount of other stuff I had to watch that I didn't appreciate or like as much to get to that point. It was like, I don't want to have to eat I don't want to have to eat the meatloaf to get the cake for dessert, right? Yeah. I just want the cake. And you might like meatloaf, and that's fine, but I don't like meatloaf, so I don't want to have to. If I have to, then that makes the cake maybe not that much.
It's not worth it.
I don't know. Yeah.
Is the juice worth the squeeze? Yeah, no, I guess that's our rundown of
the movies.
The things we like about all the movies, because
and we've been talking for a while. So.
Yeah.
Real quick. You don't have to expand, Brett.
Okay.
But I was curious what your favorite storyline was in Clone Wars.
Ooh, in Clone Wars.
And in Rebels.
I really enjoy in Rebels when they kind of get into the Mortis stuff, the Force stuff again.
I love the wolf door.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. So the Mortis stuff in Clone Wars is just kind of there and done. It's and that makes sense, but there's not a lot more explained, and it leaves a lot to the imagination. And then in Rebels, you get to see a little bit more of like, oh, like what are the possibilities here? What's happening? And so I really like that. Trying to think other storylines. Man, this last season of Clone Wars has been fantastic, especially the last 4 episodes.
I think the last 4 episodes is the best the Clone Wars has ever been in almost every regard.
Mm-hmm.
But to stay away from recency bias, I'd probably say the 2 ones that would make me choose a top one would be either the Mandalore stuff with like Obi-Wan and Maul and what's going on with, which kind of a precursor to these last 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Either that or what was going to be a finale with Ahsoka, which was The Wrong Jedi.
Yeah.
Those 2 storylines are just so good.
Agreed. I'll give I would probably pick those over what I'm about to say as well, but I'll give a shout out to any of the stuff that's just clone based. I think that it's really
the
easy,
Umbara stuff.
Really
I
easy
love
to
the
like
Umbara stuff.
Not care about it. If you're just like, oh, there's so much, maybe I don't care about these just the soldier clones, but like all of those arcs have like really satisfying conclusions by the time you reach the end of the series. And it makes you care about the clones, which is something that a movie can't make you do, because movies not going to give you the time. But when you can invest into a whole squadron, for episode after episode and see how they grow and interact with your main characters, that's when you get the gold that you have in Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm. Sweetness.
I tuned out for most of that because
Good.
We
tried. I don't think we got into anything.
Yeah,
real spoilery,
no big
but
spoilers.
yeah.
Well,
fair.
honestly,
That's
no
fair.
spoilers.
Oh gosh. Well, and we talked a little bit how we're excited for the future of Star Wars. We got Taika making something.
We got Taika making episode 10.
Not convinced it's episode 10.
I just want my prediction to come through. True.
I know. We've also got some Mandalorian season 2 coming our way here by August, September, something like that. And then Obi-Wan is the other announced show. We have yet to see if the Rian Johnson trilogy is still happening. That hasn't been talked about in a while. Brett's getting a little
there's a
nervous
lot
over here.
up in the air. I feel like right now because they're announcing so much stuff, but who knows if they'll follow through with it or not.
Yeah, we'll see. It's definitely been an interesting year and a half for Star Wars, with the rise of the popularity of the shows. Becoming
and video games.
Yeah, and their video games did well too this year. So between Battlefront and Fallen Order, like Star Wars is still here to stay.
It's not going nowhere. We got the new books coming out this fall, baby.
We got new books. Yeah. So it's still a good time to be a Star Wars fan, and even if the latest thing wasn't your jam, that's okay. It doesn't have to ruin what came before. Try and be educated about, why people do like these things that you don't maybe understand. If you're really into talking about it. I think
don't be toxic.
One of the best things that we did was sit down and have our Last Jedi commentary, because I was able to offer viewpoints to these guys, and these guys, I had probably heard most of what they were saying to me, like most of their complaints before, but it was still good to have that actual discussion. And I think we all, try to be a little less toxic and a little more.
Hopefully this coronavirus stuff in so we can finally make that Rise of Skywalker commentary and finish out the trilogy.
We do need to do that. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Boy, that's gonna be fun. Mostly because there's not a no negativity filter for Brett on that one.
That's right. Rip it, Brett.
Rip it, baby. Rip it.
It's still not a roast like what we do with Fantastic.
Or Venom when we get around to doing that one. I know, that's like,
I'd
I
rather
don't
watch
really want to watch it
Fantastic
again. Oh, I don't know about that.
I'll watch Venom. I'll do it.
I hate Venom. Ugh.
Dude,
I'm sorry if you love that movie, but not for me.
Well, if you want to hear some of our other things, you can go to whatthefanboy.com. Find our movie commentaries. You can find some TV talks where we review seasons of different shows. I think Luke and I are going to probably have a Clone Wars Season 7 TV talk here soon. Not making any timeline promises because who knows with Corona. But yeah, you can obviously, we'd love it if you would give us a review over on iTunes. But you can find the podcast on Spotify and Google Play and all those places. You can just go to whatthefanboy.com if you need those links. But until next week, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you.
See you guys.
See everybody.
Bye.